Good day, friends. Steve here. The toothless, but the Christmas shaman. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, but I have one of them. It's just the other one that broke off and left me crying like a baby. Really made me very sad when that happened because it was a good tooth until it broke. But it did lead me into a whole escapade of finding a new dentist, as my dentist had the audacity to retire. I still holding a little feeling about that because he and I were the same age within, I think, a week of each other, both Capricorns, same year, January birthday, week apart, maybe not even. And we both started our practice, my chiropractic practice and his dental practice, in 1980. And he worked a little bit longer than I did. I gave up my practice, besides family members, in 2019, at the end of 2019, as I had a strong intuition that I wasn't going to be wanting to fly in airplanes for a period of time. I have had a remarkably good day, and I've been really noticing some interesting occurrences, a lot of synchronicities, a lot of times where I'm calling a friend of mine, friend client, it's all the same thing for me, calling a friend of mine, or maybe I should start calling them friants. Yeah, or cleanse of mine. Anyway, I've been calling them and they say, "Oh man, I was just about to call you," which is synchronicity, and synchronicity is an indication of telepathy. I think that's not the exact saying, but it's close to that. So I have been noticing something that's been going on with me, where I've been doing just like peeling of the onion cleansing processes, where I'll do like a deep emotional, not really a lot of emotions, just emotions, just energy stuck, energy moving kind of thing. And I've been staying real observational about it, where I've just been watching myself go into early years with all these energies that were unresolved, and then resolving those energies. Sometimes it actually feels as easy as I just made it look, and sometimes it's a lot harder. Yeah, especially with the tooth. It's like, sometimes it's like really, energy coming out. But I've been finding a continuation of the mornings and possibly the nights. So I don't remember the nights quite as much as the mornings, when I'm waking up feeling a lot of panicky energy in my chest. And this has been going on for at least 3 weeks, if not a couple months, because I think I was feeling this kind of energy when I was back in Michigan as well. But anyway, I've been doing, really good with doing yoga breathing. Haven't been on the Qigong too much, and I want to get back on that. But I'm in the middle of this coursework with the Thomas Hübl, who's a mystic trauma therapist. And Thomas Hübl, his course on Ancestral Healing Codes. And it's a 5-month course, and we're a couple months into it or so. But it's been very useful because so far we've had 4 classes with Thomas and 4 integration sessions that are with his team teachers. So they run the integration process, he does the download talk. And so we've had 4 of each of those, and they've all been useful. Or maybe we've had 4 of the courses and 3 integration sessions. The next integration session, the 4th integration session, is Tuesday, the day I'm supposed to have yet another dental exam by a biological dentist. Now, I would think that most dentists are biological dentists, but these are dentists who feel like there is effect by having metal in your mouth, and there's an effect on your whole system. And the biological dentist is opposed to amalgams, just don't feel like mercury should be a part of any cavity filling. Just because there's more and more coming out about mercury. And, you know, mercury is in vaccines, and mercury is in these dental fillings, and mercury you don't want in your system because it can wreak some havoc on it. I won't go into details. You can look it up yourself if you want to find out more about it. But my integration session is on Tuesday. My dental appointment is on Tuesday. My integration session is supposed to start at 9 o'clock. My dental appointment is supposed to start at 8 o'clock, and it's supposed to complete by 9:30. But with paperwork and all stuff, you know, who knows if I'm going to get out of there in time to get onto the course through Skype. If you can come into class late, and everybody's like, you know, this class started at 9 o'clock, and it's 9:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever. Or I can watch it later. But it takes a while for them to make up the video after the course and then download it onto our private site. A lot of information. Okay, there is a healing field set up, so you can connect to the healing field if you want. Just state, I choose to connect to the world healing field. You can state out loud, I connect with my deep self, connect with my higher self, connect with my highest self, ground myself to the healing center of the earth, open myself to the healing power of the One, release anything no longer useful to me. And if you want to work with the 7th dimensional beings, the Hathors, you can state, I choose to work with the Hathors. And then they'll know to come in and help you with whatever energy release, which is pretty much their work, is helping you to release energies that you've not released and integrated, so they're kind of stuck in your system. They've been doing this with me for over 20 years. It's been super helpful. I highly recommend them. They're not pushy at all. They just hold vibrations, just kind of like is happening in the world right now. So there's vibrations being held in the world. It keeps going up, it keeps going up, it keeps going up. And that energy up changes us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's just this vibration rising. And if we rise to the occasion, we won't feel as much. But if we're trying to hold on, we're like, you know, I felt that way many a time and almost every day for the last at least 3 weeks, if not longer. Before that, I felt like I was doing much better. Last 3 weeks, I felt like, I felt overwhelmed by the whole energetics. I felt like it was too big, I was too small. I shifted that around, and now it's moderate size, and I'm bigger. So that works out well for me. Okay, so part of the Thomas Hübl course, one of the things that we get is we get to go back and work each of the courses as many times as we want, which is just a wonderful thing to have them available and be able to go back through and do the exercises again and forget that we even did them before. So it's like brand new again. I did the exercise this time, this morning, and what ended up happening, and I'll see if I can find where this stuff was written down. Yeah. So this is Ancestral Healing Codes course, and we were given instructions about in a meditation to connect with our family system, maybe in this lifetime, if we had parents and aunts and uncles and siblings and such, that could be our family of origin. And this look at what our experience is as we look at the atmosphere of that family system now. How do we feel about it? Do we feel close, warm, loved? Do we feel a bit estranged, not so sure, still concerned about these people that are referred to as our family? And so when I looked at my family system growing up, I was to come up with words related to that family system. And the words I came up with were chaotic energy, mental illness, fear-based, and anger-based. So that was the energy of my family. And then the second question was, what is your experience of the atmosphere of your family system? And my experience of the atmosphere was sadness, estrangement, withdrawal, aloneness, and empty. It just felt empty to me. There's some other aspects of that. But one of the things another thing that we were asked is, what is the lens that we look through related to our ancestors? What are the biases and the filters? So I wrote judgment. So both the feeling of being judged, not good enough, not smart enough, not following the party line, all those kind of things. And then I also noticed my judgment of small minds, unwilling to look at other options, other ideas, unwilling to discuss anything that may improve the quality of what's going on here. And this was me as a child. So then the other things I noticed was coldness from outside, a feeling of coldness, and a feeling of coldness of me towards that group. And a feeling of superiority from the group about themselves in relationship to others in the world, that the group, the family dynamic was we are superior to others. And then I had a matching superiority that basically said, you're all full of crap. You don't understand a thing going on in the world. So I had a superiority thing to the superiority group. And my consciousness about this group was, I want to be not like that. Whatever that was, I wanted to be not like that. And the issues in the way others perceived me and the way I perceived others was arrogance. There was such arrogance, this know-it-all attitude, and I had such arrogance about that. And there was a feeling of like, no matter how much we try to build ourselves up and act smarter and act better and feel more entitled and whatever it was that was going on within that group, there was a feeling of it's hopeless. And I lived in a feeling of hopelessness. That it's just, this is a hopeless group. Wiping the slate. Working with the energies. Are these just what showed up? They don't have to be how it needs to remain. It's just what came up in my consciousness relative to my survival of that group of people. Okay. I tuned into my grandfather. So my grandfather and my grandmother on my mother's side. And so when I tuned into my grandfather, who died when my mother was 13, so she had that impact of being one of 5 children, 5 children, 2 older brothers. I think she was in the middle. She had a younger sister and then a younger brother. So there were 5 of them total. My mom was in the middle of the 5. 3 boys and 2 girls. When I tuned into my maternal grandfather, my mother's father, who died unexpectedly, some type of accident, injury, died when she was 13. And his energy, when I tuned into him, was happy, excited, and optimistic. So it let me know that this work I've been doing to release the grief of his loss from my ancestral line has been working, because I'm now able to access who this person was before they died and getting the resources, because those came through me genetically. Happy, excited, optimistic. I like all 3 of those words. I like all 3 of those energies. That is the man. My mother said I was a twin. At the age when he died, when I was alive, I saw pictures of him, and our hair was alike, the color was the same. We looked a lot alike. And I would have liked him very much. I do like him very much. I think I would have really liked it if I had gotten to know him as a person. That would have been lovely. And I know his daughter, my mother, as a person, and she's quite lovely. And his other sons I have met, and they were all lovely people. Matter of fact, it was a very functional family. Very functional family, very lovely family. Then I tuned into my grandmother, whose name was Bibi, and the energies that she carried were loving, caretaking, and supportive. 3 lovely energies. So we've got happy, excited, optimistic from my grandfather, loving, caretaking, supportive from my grandmother. Those energies come to me. They come through me. They are who I can be in the world based on the ancestral energies that I carry inside. And then I was noticing, while I was doing this process, and they had us really go into some bodily sensations, I felt a lot of contraction around my heart. And we were asked to draw a picture of the body part that we were aware of and how it felt, and to draw a picture of it. So I just drew a picture of a heart, and with these arrows pointing towards it, indicating a contraction. And I realized that that reminded me of the 5 of Cups. And I was doing this work, and I was realizing that there were 5 arrows pointing in, but it looked like maybe one arrow had penetrated the heart. And when I first looked at the 5 arrows pointing in, and I know the arrows relate to swords in some, people's consciousness, and they relate to the mind. But the heart to me related to the emotions, and those arrows were actually contractions of the heart holding these emotional feelings inside. And I immediately thought of the 5 of Cups in terms of a tarot card. And rather than pull a card today, I just opened up and read from the book. And I said, well, this could be the 5 of Cups or this could be the 6 of Cups. So I'm going to actually read both. I'm going to just look. Wow, how do I get to 20 minutes already? So I'm still not going to make this necessarily any shorter. But the number 5 relates to change, freedom, exploration, tension, growth, adventure, balance, transition. Cups are a water sign, which relates to emotions, connections, love, intimacy, community, intuition, associated with the heart. Interesting. The key words are grief, loss, loneliness. Remember the family feeling? Loneliness, heartache, internal scrutiny, which is pretty much what I was doing when I was looking at the family of origin and looking at myself and my relationship to that family of origin. Guilt and emotional adjustments. And then her words, Meg Jones-Wall's words are, we have come to a period of drawing back and contemplation, but now a relationship has fractured. And if we're looking back at our ancestry where a relationship was fractured by death, and we're working with those energies within ourselves, then we're working with a relationship that was fractured. And we find ourselves drowning in grief. All that contraction around the heart. Overwhelmed by sorrow and sadness. And this has been happening for me for my whole life, but the past number of days, the just amount of grief that I've been feeling releasing has been a lot. This pain is real and must be recognized as such with a truthful acknowledgement of what we have endured. I think that's how you say it. Yet we still have people around us that care, that want to extend love and support to us. And this is so true. As I'm opening to it, I'm getting more and more. That will be ready to pick us up when the time comes. This sensation of loss mingling with love is the intense heaviness of the 5 of Cups. So because there was 5 arrows, but there was one that seemed like it might have been stuck in the heart, I also want to read the 6 of Cups. The 6 is about harmony, nurturing, community, caretaking, movement, and pride. It's also a water sign, so it's emotions, connections, love, intimacy, community, intuition, also associated with the heart. The key words are nostalgia, optimism. Nostalgia, the past, my grandfather, happy, excited, optimistic. Interesting. Nostalgia, optimism, happy memories. This I read after I came up with these words about my feeling of my grandfather. Inner child work. You obviously can make this stuff up. Joy and hope. Celebration, comparison. Joy. So excited. Happy. Optimistic. Okay, after a period of grief and recovery, whether you're working with your own stuff, you're working with your ancestral stuff, it's all your stuff. We find ourselves remembering joys past and dreaming of a more hopeful future. I'm still waiting on this one, but I'm seeing it. I have a hopeful future, but dreaming of a more hopeful future because it hasn't really been matching the hopefulness I've had. Our community has rallied around us and our sense of hope expands, helping us to deepen existing connections and discover new ones. Nostalgia mingles with wonder as we reflect on how far we have come, this beauty and pleasure, this deep sense of comfort in all that we have is the magic and safety of the Six of Cups. Part of overcoming sorrow is finding a new awareness that blessings, connections, and love have never left us. And in the wake of the Five of Cups, the Six offers us a chance for a fresh start. New opportunities for beauty and pleasure, alongside remembrances of where we have been and who our ancestors are. Six of Cups is a card of roots and nostalgic choices. Roots. When we look back on our own history and growth, roots. We can trace the pattern of our development and remember the important relationships and experiences that shaped us. In reflecting on the cool, gentle waters that have soothed us in the past, we can appreciate the flows of the present and begin to embrace essential connections once again. Grandfather, grandmother, happy, excited, optimistic, loving, caretaking, and supportive. We can open ourselves to those energies because the being that you are is eternal. I mean, it's a scary thought for some of us. Like, oh no, me, eternal? Oh, the poor people. But we don't all have that thought. We have thoughts that like, oh, we can do a lot with eternity in front of us. And why don't we start now? Okay. So my ancestors are alive, and I can connect to them, and I can call them in, and I can receive all those experiences that they've had all the way back. They're already in me, but I can open them up, and receive that optimism, that excitement, that joy, that caretaking quality, that ability to love and encompass others. It's my divine right. Okay, that's enough. I better click this off quick before it gets to 30 minutes, 28, 21. All right, now must go. Change.